This is a Langston Boulevard Alliance People and Places project interview conducted by the Langston Boulevard Alliance. Today we're going to be talking about Dorothy Ham, Stratford Junior High. Today's date is 12/6/2024. We are on location at the Langston Boulevard Alliance office. My name is Bennett King, and I'm a research assistant for the Langston Boulevard Alliance. Today we're talking to Micchale Jones. And Micchale, I'm going to have you start by just giving an introduction about yourself, where you're from, maybe some of the schools you went to, your history in Arlington, that type of thing.
Okay, I'm Micchale Jones. I was born in Washington, D.C. I grew up in Arlington, the community called Halls Hill, which at the time was just a black community. At the time of segregation, we were all in one little little area surrounded by Glebe Road, which is then Lee Highway, Edison Street, and it was a nice, small community now, but it was a closely knit community of where everyone knew each other. Yeah. So we had two main churches there, Callaway United Methodist Church and Mount Salvation Baptist Church. Now, at the time, it's funny because my father was a member of Callaway United Methodist Church, and my mother was a member of Mount Salvation Baptist Church. And while we were growing up, I have 6 brothers and sisters. Yep. I'm the second. I have an older brother. I have a sister who was born 1 month after I entered Stratford. I went to Stratford in February '59. She was born in March. So at the time that I was going through all that, my mother was pregnant. So there was a little extra stress on her, carrying her 7th child, but it all worked out. I grew up in Halls Hill, and I was friends with the other 4 kids who went to Stratford with me. Gloria Thompson and I, we went to the same church, Mount Salvation, or Ronnie and Lance went to Callaway. And so we all knew each other. We all went together, and we went from 1st grade, of course, at Langston. We have great teachers there at Langston, which helped us prepare for going to Stratford. They teachers all in the community. They were just like everyone. Probably, everyone worked together for the good of the community. So I know all the teachers, and we went from 1st grade to 6th grade there, and I guess what we learned there has helped us be chosen to go to Stratford because the teachers were good, so we passed all the tests and all that, and were admitted or allowed to, on the judge's allowance authorization to go to Stratford in '59. So we, I guess, were just the 4 of us, I guess, were well prepared as we could to enter Stratford in that February '59. Go on.
I was just going to say, there's several people have told me, I think your sister may have been one of them too, is that the community was so close-knit that not only did everybody know each other, you couldn't get away with anything as a kid. Did you have memories like that too? Like you'd get in trouble at school and they'd know at home by the time you got at home that you were in trouble? Or... Oh,
yeah, it's true, yeah, because it was like, maybe how many 500 people, something like that, yeah. In a small area, and like basically everyone knew it. Everyone went to the same schools there, So it was, it was a great place to grow up. Looking back at it now, and we still get together. In fact, they have the Thanksgiving Day. We have a community football game where Yeah.
Pictures of it.
Yeah. The community football game's been going on for years. Where now it's a situation where the young guys, like high school, might play the old guys who are out of high school and college and stuff like that. They play together in a football game. So everybody gets together, and you see people you haven't seen before in a long time. So it's still a community of sorts,
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, for somebody that will be watching this, I'm going to let you tell the story too. What was Stratford Junior High? What was the significance of what happened to you or what was going on with you at Stratford Junior High? I'm going to let you tell it in your own words.
Where do you want me to start?
Well, let's just start with what is Like, what are we talking about today? You were one of four. Let's give the backstory on that. One of four that were the first to integrate into Stratford Junior High, and I'll just give you a little story on that.
Okay, this all started, due to Brown versus Board of Education that was overturned in 1954.
Yep.
And it came to Virginia, and I guess in about 58, that's when the attorneys, everybody got together to try to integrate Virginia schools. Mm-hmm. Now, at the time, we were only 11 years old, so we weren't deeply, we had no decisions in all this. Our parents were the ones, our parents and the attorneys and all the communities were all those behind us. We were just one of about 30 kids applying. And we were the youngest applying, 11 years old. And so at the time, my parents never came to ask me, do you want to do this? Nothing like that. They just said, this is what you're going to do, basically, And it was fine because I was with people I knew, everybody I knew, and we were all going this together. And the planning went on. We went to a lot of meetings. I don't even remember all the meetings to go to preparing for this. And basically it was a lot of, I wouldn't say, it was a lot of change at the time because we finished at Langston. And then for the first 6 months, not 6 months, this didn't happen in February. So after we finished at Langston in May or June of that year in 58, we went down to Hoffman Boston, which is a black school, high school there. And that was high school, went from 7th to 12th grade. So we went to Hoffman Boston from the September, October, November, December until it was ruled that we could go to Stratford. So we changed from, elementary school where you know everybody and all that to a high school where you're the 7th grade, all the 12th graders up there, things like that. And fortunately, my brother was going there, so we knew people there, but it was just still a change going to a different school at that time. Yeah. So going from one school, and then 4 months later going to another school in a totally different atmosphere, it was a big change. So it was like a swirl, everything going around, then different teachers, everything is different, So, but like I said, we had ample preparation for this because we had gone through all kind of, before this happening, the community gotten together and we're going to classes at, training, sort of training class at Mount Salvation, at Calorie and Masters telling them what to do. It's like, if you go in, this is how you have to eat. You can't be sloppy. You have to eat with a knife and fork and make sure you bring it, chew it properly when you go in and everything like that. And I was amazed. I said, well, okay, so we learned all that, how to eat around other people, other white people, things like that. And then you get to school and you see all the other kids eating with their hands and mouths and all that, and you're trying to be all nice and everything. Everybody else just, stuffing food in their mouth and all that, playing around the food. And I said, God, we learned all this, and everybody else eating just like they would normally. So that was kind of a awakening. I said, we can just be normal here. And so it was a lot of preparation. They gave us a lot of preparation before we went to all this training class. I can't even remember. And then finally, we went down to the courthouse. I think a bunch of us went out to the courthouse, and then they chose us four to go, And so then we were kind of singled out and in training for going out, getting ready for Stratford, things like that.
Okay. So when you went down to the courthouse, that was more like the 30 kids went down?
Yeah, right. When they made the ruling, Judge Bryan made a ruling, they chose 4 of us. Okay. I guess because they couldn't, they had, I won't say the county, but the people who didn't want it, they had all these reasons to keep us out, Yeah, they're not this, they're not this, and I guess for the 4 of us, they couldn't find a legitimate reason to keep us off, to keep us out. So, and Judge Bryant ruled that of the 30, 4 of us would be admitted.
Yeah. Was Stratford the first integrated school in Northern Virginia or all of Virginia? I couldn't.
I think there was some schools down in like Norfolk or something like that. They were, Stratford, I think we went in just early in the day. They went in probably later that day.
Yeah, okay. So tell me I wanted to go back to, you said you're 11 years old and you don't have a say in this. How did you initially find out about it? How did your parents tell you, or how did you find out this was going to happen?
You know, I don't really know. I don't remember that part. I know, I guess, I don't know if my parents told us or they told us in a joint meeting or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it was probably some meeting or something after that where they told us. But, you know, it wasn't like my parents sat down and said, here's what we're going to do, boy. Here's what happened to you. No, it was just probably on the group setting, you know.
Okay. What did you think about it at the time? Were you nervous or anxious or?
No, like I said, that was a year of a lot of changes. So that just went along with everything else. Like I said, going from Langston to Hoffman, Boston, and then going to another school, I said, oh man. So, you know, it just was par for the course for that year, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at that age you're making all those changes anyway, right?
Right. Yeah, I didn't think good or bad. At least it'd have been a lot different if I was just going by myself. But I was going with people I knew, you know, so it was just for four of us, you know, right?
When you were doing you said you were doing the classes, we had heard from Sandra Green about the classes at Callaway. Was it you, a bunch of kids, or was it?
Yeah, it was a bunch of us.
Okay.
The only time it got single, I guess, up until the time that we four were chosen, it was a group of about 30 kids or so doing everything. And then after we were chosen, then and that was only for about maybe 6 months or so when they started sitting down with individuals. I mean, with us, so it's a small group to go through what we'd expect going down to Stratford.
Yeah. Okay. I know you were young, you were 11 years old. Did you have, and you probably so many changes going on, you maybe not thinking about it. Did you have a concept of at the time of how important this was?
No idea. I mean, not really. I mean, like I said, all I know was we're going to a different school, you know, and different people, and it was, we you know, like Stratford's right there, so it's not like we didn't know where it was. So it was just, you know, just a different school, and just another school, another different school we've been to the last 4 or 5 years, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say you go to the county, you pick the 4 of you are chosen. But walk us through the first day, like you're going to school there. What was that like?
Woke up. We went. I lived on Dinwiddie Street, and Ronnie and his family lived down the street in the apartments about in the next block or so. Gloria lived 1 block over. Lance lived up here on Lee Highway. He lives up there down Lee Highway where. You know where the Bob Edith is?
Yeah.
Right there. They lived a house a block up from where, right next to, it's another thing next to Bob Edith's, right up there. They had the house up there. Okay. And so we all met, came down to Ronnie's house, and I think Ronnie's father gave us a ride down to Stratford. And our parents, there's another house on the way there, right? You could see in and see it going in. Our parents went in that house, they let us go in so they could see us going in. But we went into Stratford, and some people say, I don't remember going, they said we went to the back door. I don't remember, I just remember going into the front. Just going through the main front door. Yeah. I met with Principal Claude Richmond. He talked to us about, before we went to our first class, maybe 20, 30 minutes about he said, don't worry about people looking at you and all that, and questions, stuff like that. But basically, I just remember going in, Ronnie and Lance had class together, and put Gloria and I had class together. So that's how we went to the first class, and it was just normal. Just after that, I remember, you know, what class it was, or just a day. I don't remember too much really about what it was just school from that point. Yeah.
Was the junior high, did you stay in one class back then, or did you move to?
No, it was different classes.
And then you stayed with Gloria the whole time?
Yeah, bro, yeah, differently, yeah.
Okay. So as you start there, what kind of challenges did you face at the school? Did you have any issues or problems over the first couple weeks or months?
I don't remember any. I mean, the way I used to treat it was like it was a job. You go there, you do your work, and then when you finish, you come home, you go back to community, and that's when you had all the fun. So it was just you go there, do your time in, do your classes, do all that, and then you just come home and have fun with your community. Yeah. That's what it was to me.
There was a couple of people that talked about, and I think they had been there later than you, and they were talking about this kind of disconnect between you would have friends there, you'd have white friends there or friends at school, but then you come home and you have a completely different set of friends, and then you didn't really see each other outside of school. Did you have friends that you would see from the school, or was it just back in the community?
I just, like I said, it was like a job to me. You go in there, just like working with somebody, you're just like working with somebody you just knew on the job.
You finish
you do your shift and go back home, everything like that. So, and at the time, you couldn't, I don't know if you could participate in it. The first year, you couldn't participate in any extracurricular activities. You just had to go home, because there was no, you couldn't play sports. Sports weren't integrated then, and so you just did your work, and I just did my work and came home.
Yeah. What was the interaction like? Did you interact with the students, or did you guys just stay together? Or did you make friends at school, or have friends in class, or?
I don't remember making any friends while I was at Stratford.
Yeah.
I mean, now later on, when I went to W&L, after I graduated, then I had friends after that. But not in Stratford, it was all business.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. What about your interactions with the teachers? What was that like, the teachers at the school?
Same thing. I mean, they weren't, I don't remember any overly hostile teachers, any kind of trouble. I just did my work and they just.
Favorite teachers? Any of them stand out as helpful to you?
Nope, not really. There weren't any teachers that were critical or anything like that or bad, but just, I guess that was probably more on me because I was pretty smart at the time. I kept up with my work, but I wasn't one to go home and study for 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I said, what's the passing grade here? C? I get that, But it was no problem. I mean, but if looking back now, I'd probably say you should have spent more time, doing studying, things like that. But at the time, I said, I'm smart enough to get about it. I'll spend it it's like a Marvin Gaye song, do what you need to do, spend your time with something else,
Yeah.
I just did what I needed to do to pass. I mean, like I said, looking back, I should have studied harder, through that kind of not that things didn't turn out well, but it would have been a lot easier for me in high school and further,
Yeah.
And I learned a lesson later on what happens when you don't study a lot.
Yeah. So in the bigger community, you said that day there wasn't really issues the first day. Did you ever run any of the issues in the bigger community with people protesting or any of that?
It's funny. It wasn't there. Now, in the school year, I remember during the school year, Ronnie Lance told us that, there's some guys around, they should come by and call us the N-word and everything like that. And I said, we hadn't experienced that, but we did later on. Someone said they call us. They didn't do anything, but just, you're walking by, they call you some slurs and stuff like that. But other than that, that's the only thing bad I remember about the first year. Just some, calling us some slurs. But no one put their hands on us, anything like that.
Okay. Did you have any memorable moments? Sounds like you were doing a job there, but did you have any memorable moments while you were there? Anything fun you remember?
No, I just, it wasn't bad, but it was just, I did good in class, and but it was just mostly just a year we all progressed. We got through it. We didn't. None of us failed anything. We succeeded as far as doing our class, because I'm sure there've been news that say, these black kids flunked out of school. They didn't do well. We totally should have been going. Now, all of us did well. We studied hard and got through the class and just moved on to W&L after that,
Was there another class that came in after you? Were there more kids from Hall Solis?
Oh, yeah. After that, they came in steadily,
Okay.
After that next year, they just moved on,
Okay. So what was the change like from when you started to maybe when you graduated from Stratford? What was the change like did you see at Stratford?
Oh, I mean, there were more normal school activities. There were more black kids there, It was more interacting, and kids started interacting with other people there, black kids started making friends with white kids, and was just becoming more and more normal,
Did you get to play sports by then, or did they still not integrate that?
I think that happened after we left, maybe that, but probably after we went to high school, 1 or 2 years later.
Okay.
Right.
So not while you were there. Okay. And then what high school did you go to again? You said you had already said.
It's Washington, Liberty now, it was Washington Lee.
Yeah. Okay.
Washington Lee then.
Okay. And then what was did you already know a bunch of people there? You said you'd been moving, like, you didn't know people as much here. Did you get back with a bunch of your friends once you went to the different high school?
Oh, you know what? It's funny because we had a 60th class reunion a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Where I got together with people I graduated from high school back in '64.
Yeah.
We got together, so that was pretty good.
That's cool. So when you think about the role of Stratford in the story of Langston Boulevard, I mean, what do you think needs to be told about that junior high? Why do you think it's important to tell the story what we're talking about today?
Well, it was, I guess, that desegregation of schools that led to a big, I think it helped all of Virginia, not just Arlington, but it's just great for us in Arlington that it happened in Arlington, because they kind of brought Arlington on the map itself, because you look at Arlington and Virginia, it's like this Northern Virginia and Arlington is a progressive part of the state, and that's and looking at it back at it, it was the first integrated schools here, and it's become, like I said, almost like a national community, and it's led to a very diverse area. And Arlington is a part of the bigger D.C. area, Washington D.C. area, and because you have a lot of people in the federal government who work here, live and work here, and that's probably why the schools weren't closed like they were down in Farmville and Prince Edward County, because people here come from all over the place. They work here, maybe some temporarily, some stay here. And so they didn't want the schools closed because their kids didn't want their kids to go to parents didn't want their kids to have to go to private school if they're in the Farmville, things like that. So that everybody worked together for this integration thing, and I think it turned out great.
Yeah, I'd never heard about it like that, but that makes sense. It's still kind of a transitional neighborhood where people come in and out, right?
Yeah, right, come in and go. Yeah, and it's Arlington has people here have a little extra income here, as you see from the $1 million house around here to make mansions, so people, and they have, great schools here, between Wakefield, Yorktown, and Washington Liberty, good schools here. And so, and then it comes from the fact that people around here kind of got together to make things better, and diversity helps, and you can see how it's a small black population, but everybody works together to make the whole area a better area.
Yeah. Anything else, any other stories we missed about Stratford, or anything else you wanted to share about your experience there?
No, it was, like I said, for me, it was a great experience, because I always thought about, if it had been a different community, like it was, for me, I think it was great that it was here in Arlington rather than down south near Richmond, those small communities down there would have turned out different.
Yeah.
But here, like I said, with the amount of the people that live around this area coming from all over the United States,
yeah.
and not a small segregated area, it was better, and you didn't see the kind of protests that you would see, like it was done for Ruby Bridges and her down in there where she lived, And some people are, at the time this area, they had the American Nazi Party around here. George Liggett Rockwell,
Yeah.
and he was around here. But they were in the, I saw them a little bit, but they didn't do a whole lot anywhere. So it was very peaceful regard to what could have happened, and it turned out, I guess, as most people that helped. It made national news, but at least it wasn't in the negative side. It was like one paper said the day nothing happened, which was a blessing. Yeah, but it turned out great, and and like I said, this area is one nationally listed and historical,
Yeah.
both for JD and for Arlington.
Yeah, I think it's the civil rights movement here. I mean, that's the thing I've learned about it, is that it was a relatively peaceful movement, and the transition happened fairly quickly.
Right.
So it was much different than you saw in Southern Virginia.
Right.
That was an interesting, you mentioned the Nazi Party. Sandra Green told us a story about as they were having meetings to prepare for desegregation. I guess the Nazi Party stormed into Callaway Church. Had you heard this before?
No, not that one.
Yes, she said they came in and tried to interrupt the meeting, but they just kept having their meeting and they left because they couldn't do it.
Now, we were at a meeting at, I don't know what building it was, but some of them came in. They came in, but they didn't make it. They came in and sat down, but they didn't disrupt anything, but they just made their presence known, you know.
Did you run into them at all? I mean, they were a different part of town. Did they come up?
Yeah, they were down there. Like they had a place down in Clarendon.
Yeah.
You know, Clarendon. But no, I mean, you hear about them, but they weren't very vocal. They didn't disrupt a whole lot. They just came in their presence known. You know, there was a lot. Sometimes there's a lot worse people around. You know, Proud Boys are worse than they are. You know.
Well, that's all I had for you. I want to really appreciate you taking the time to, talk with us today and share that story. And we'll use some of those clips as we put up the history of the school and let you take a look at what we came up with and what we wrote up.
Yeah, it was. This area was a good place to grow up. You know, because one thing about then, I mean, like I said, the neighborhoods were segregated. I used to always tell the stories about how we used to get together. You know. Black kids and white kids, you know, doing, like I said, when it snowed, at the time, we don't get snow like we used to get, you know. Yeah. Like we used to snow and let's go close all the schools, and then everyone had a sled, so we'd find the biggest hills around here to go sleigh riding. You know, everybody used to sleigh ride. And so the biggest hills now we're in what we call the white section. So all the black kids, you know, we took our snow shovels, go over there and sleigh ride the white down the hills, and it was just a community like that. So it was great, like we'd get together like that. And then when it was Halloween, go trick or treat, you know. And when first you just go, when you were young, you go trick or treat just in your own neighborhood. But when you got a little older in high school, you know, you could say we could get more food if we go in the white section. So we used to dress up, and nobody can see whether you're white or black, and put on everything like that. You know, have yourself, and then go knock on trick or treat. And we used to have so much candy, boy, it was like a big shopping bag. I learned not to eat it all in one night. I think I got sick for once trying to eat all the candy in one night. So I used to learn to store for the next day. But it was great. It was nice.
What advice maybe would you give Langston Boulevard Alliance or the county on making sure we continue to share these stories? There's a lot of people that are moving in that maybe don't know the history. What advice would you give? Like, what are things we should do to help that out?
You want like older story thing on people? What?
Well, I guess what we're trying to do is share as many stories as we can. We've got a website. That's only one piece of it. Are there other things? I know you were involved in one of the walking tours as well. Is there
we
can share these stories better to the community that's maybe not been here for a while? Like you've been a part of the community for so long.
I'm trying to think. My sister does Wilma.
Yeah.
She works on the walking tours. I help out a little bit on that. I'm not really sure how you can, you know, basically, you know, you can just put stuff on social media and have people respond to that, because some people might respond who, like myself, who are maybe not aware, you know. And some people could, you know, unfortunately, as we get older, you know, we move around, move out, as some of us pass, like Ronnie and Lance have passed, you know. So I would say just put it on social media and let people respond that way.
Yeah. Did you do? We had a couple other buildings we were at, and I just wanted to see if you had any memories of those. Did you do anything at what used to be the Langston Elementary? I mean, did you do they had the rec center there, I guess, afterwards?
Yeah.
Were you involved with that? What was that?
No, not really, because I moved after I finished at WL. I spent a year at Howard, where Howard was like a strict parent. They told me, basically, they said, you're not doing well enough, so you have to take some time off. So they kind of, you know, said, you got to do better. So I only spent a year there. That's when I learned I should have done better study habits in school. So I left Howard. After 1 year, I got a job in the post office, and then that was during the year of the Vietnam War. Then I got drafted. Oh. So I went into the service and spent a couple years there. In fact, I went to Vietnam for the last 4 or 5 months, and Actually, and thank God that wasn't too bad. In fact, I was almost ready to re-enlist, except I probably stayed in Vietnam if I had re-enlisted for more years. I said, but I'm not staying. If I was in the States, I probably would have. But I came home from Vietnam. Went back to the post office. Then I went to Northern Virginia Community College. I did well. Then I started to study because I was working at the post office at night, going to school in the day. And I did well there, and that's when I went to Fordham. So I went to Fordham, and I did last 2 years there. And after Fordham, I came back, ended up working at Mutual Omaha, and that led me to work for the CIA. So I worked for the CIA for from '88 to 2012. Okay. So I was a human resource officer at the CIA, okay. And that took me where I am.
Close. Like you didn't have to go too far for that job.
Yeah, you're right. That was locums. That was great. So it all worked. It's been working out well for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Were there any other buildings you remember like being a part of your growing up? We've talked about the churches.
Yeah.
Any other buildings that are still in the neighborhood that you remember well from your youth, or? No,
just the two churches, Callaway, Mount Salvation, and that's only probably in the neighborhood. Not that many. I know we have the local stores and stuff like that. We had a store called Miss Allen's store was in the neighborhood where we used to buy Miss Allen's, and then was a store up on, I forgot, the Hicks store up on, which it used to be Lee Highway then. Yeah. But other than that, and then they had the firehouse, Yeah. Yeah. But other than that.
We just finished the write-up on that, so
right.
It's going up. Yeah, that was, we got some great stories on that.
Yeah. And there used to have McDonald's up there. That McDonald's up there, was up there when I was there and before I was in high school. So that's been there almost 60 years, since the 19th year.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's been there that long.
We might have to add that to our list.
Yeah, that's been there that long. Everything else must change, but that's been that long, and other stores, but other locations have been there, but they've been changed, like the CVS over here. That used to be a People's drugstore. Yeah.
That was was that one of the sit-ins? I think there was a sit-in there, wasn't it, with People's?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I want to thank you for spending that time with us. And
no, it was great.
We'll get this in January. We'll get this out to you and let you take a look. And
okay.
You give us a thumbs up, and we'll start putting some stuff up. And we'll use the social media too.
Okay.
Get it out there.
Right. Well, thank you very much.